Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Caring Corner. I'm Sarah Martin with the Family Caregiver Program here at the UCDD. Thanks for joining us on our second episode of this Caring Corner series on caregiving, Caring for You, Caring for Me, an educational and support series for professional and family caregivers. So last month we looked at who caregivers are and what they do on a daily basis. This month, we wanted to focus on the importance of self care. It's critical that caregivers take care of themselves. The person that you care for benefits from you when you're available in a nurturing, loving, and supportive manner. And you can only offer this when you provide those same things to yourself. In the words of Dr. James Miller, the healthiest way to care for another person is to care for yourself. This episode is designed to help you recognize the importance of taking care of yourself and learning ways to do so. This way, you can continue to provide care to your loved ones. So, today we're going to look at some of the self care skills, identify some outcomes of not taking care of yourself, examine some negative emotions that you may experience, identify effective coping skills. And we're also going to recognize the importance of laughter and humor in your life. So ask yourself, how well do you take care of yourself? The likely outcome or consequence for a caregiver who is not taking care of themselves is what we like to call burnout. Burnout is the process that results when excessive demands on one's energy, strength, or resources leads to failure, wearing out, or exhaustion. Now, when burnout reaches a critical level, it becomes very evident in that caregiver's life. Some symptoms of burnout are depression, withdrawal from family, friends, or in the workplace, experiencing negative emotions, sleep deprivation, or even experiencing your own personal health problems. One of the purposes of this educational and support program is to prevent caregivers from having burnout. And one way that we can do this is to encourage you all and to give you better tips on how to care for yourself and how that looks in your own caregiving journey. Caregivers can take care of themselves in 4 major ways: recognizing and coping with your negative emotions, developing a battery of coping skills, not going through things alone and allowing others to help. And my personal favorite is learning to laugh. Today, we're going to look at each of these strategies. However, most of our time today will be spent on what negative emotions are. So let's go ahead and start there. Recognize and cope with your negative emotions. Caregivers experience a variety of emotions in relation to their caregiving responsibilities. Now, many of these emotions are negative emotions. They make us feel bad, they take away our energy, and they can lower our self-esteem. A few of those that might be familiar to you are anger, guilt, resentment, fear, or jealousy. There may be many reasons why caregivers experience these negative emotions, and usually it's because of unmet needs, poor coping skills, major difficulties associating in your caregiving circumstances, hooks that other people use to manipulate us, and we're generally pretty vulnerable to those hooks because they strike us in those areas that we're sensitive to. People learn how to push our buttons to get the reactions that they want from us. And then we're instantly hooked when we become defensive on those. And once we're hooked, we're more likely to have those negative emotions. So, how do we prevent or get rid of those negative emotions that make us feel bad? Well, first of all, we need to recognize and acknowledge those negative emotions, those feelings of guilt, anger, and resentment. We need to next recognize that those are common human reactions. Next, we need to identify the source of those feelings, what's causing us to have those feelings that we do. And then take responsibility. Tell someone about those emotions. Allow them to help you. Remember, guys, don't go through this journey alone. Allow others to help you. And then once you identify those hooks, be on the lookout for them so you know how to cope with them. What is coping? Coping can be defined as the efforts we make to manage situations that we have as potentially harmful or stressful to us. People who cope are best with a battery of coping strategies that are flexible in gearing your responses to a situation. Copers generally have a positive outlook and use their best skills to seek the best possible outcome. They're not passive and they're not helpless. They look for a way to take control of their lives. So what do we mean when we say a battery of coping skills? To be a coper means to have these necessary life skills in stress management, time management, problem solving, decision making, and lifestyle management. Each of these areas all touch on important ways that allow us as caregivers to take care of ourselves. Another way we can improve our coping mechanism is to improve our resilience. According to the American Psychological Association, resilience is the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, threats, or other significant sources of stress. Providing care for a loved one over a long period of time or working as a professional caregiver in today's demanding environment can be a significant source of stress. Now, resilience is not something that we're born with, but it is something that everyone can learn and develop. It's important that everybody develop and use the support system in their daily lives to balance, to manage stress, to maintain a sense of well-being. It is absolutely essential that caregivers have and use a support system. What do we mean when we say a support system? The people, the agencies, and organizations in which a caregiver has contact, whether directly or indirectly, are referred to as a person's social support system. Social support may be provided in the form of physical or practical assistance, resources and information sharing, emotional and psychological assistance with attitude and transmission. The benefit of having and using that personal support system, it helps reduce stress. It decreases physical health problems and improves our emotional well-being. So taking stock of your social support system is an excellent way to access where your help actually comes from and who provides it. Taking stock can also help you see reasons as to why you don't ask or accept assistance sometimes. All right, so the last tip for the day that we're going to look at is learning to laugh. Have you ever had something along your caregiving journey that you find really funny and you typically refer back to it often to give you a sense of joy? Humor is an attitude, a state of mind, a way of placing in perspective the events that life hands us. Humor and laughter can take negatives and turn them into positives through a number of ways. It can ease our tension. It can diffuse negative emotions, increase our creativity for problem solving, and it actually releases natural painkillers in our body, and that's what makes us feel so good when we're laughing. A few ideas that we've seen over the years for keeping humor in your life are reading funny books, watching a good comedy TV show or movie, and just looking for the humor in those everyday routines that are ordinary, or making the unexpected mix-ups a funny thought. Just remember that laughter is the best medicine. Only the caregivers who make time to take care of themselves can be considered at their best. They can be like the candle that continues to burn without burning out. Remember, the best gift you can give your loved one is simply taking care of yourself. So join us over the next month for our third episode of this caregiving series. Thank you for joining us on another episode of our Caring Corner series, Caring for You, Caring for Me. Thanks and have a great day, guys. See you next time.